before we wrap up, we just want to spend a minute or two remembering. I know you did it on the other show that we're affiliated with on Wednesdays on the Fighting Words Radio Network, but one of the all-time great goaltenders we lost last week, and Tony Esposito. I know you talked about it on the show, and, of course, Phil has been a friend of ours on several shows over the years, his brother Phil, and we send out our condolences to him. But, boy, Tony O was one of the all-time greats.
No question about it. And also one of the all-time, false moves. He was originally taken by Montreal, which was, as you well know, you followed hockey from the beginning. That was the premier team in almost all of sports because they would win and win and win. And they had him for 15 games,
right.
But they didn't protect him. And when they didn't protect him, Boston picked him up, and he became, his first year he had 15 shutouts, which is still a National Hockey League record. And he went on to be if not the greatest goaltender in the history of the National Hockey League, certainly very close still with Perron and a couple of others.
Yeah, those Blackhawks teams are very good, and one year they did make I believe they made the finals. One year they lost to, I think, Montreal for the Cup sometime then, but they were always a perennial contender. I think losing Bobby Hull in the early 70s may have hurt their chances for Tony to win a Cup with Chicago, because he went over to the WHA. But, yeah, he was I got a chance to see him a few times in person, of course, on TV, and like Glenn Hall, that butterfly style, he kind of revolutionized the whole position.
No question about it. And, you talk to people in the National Hockey League, they still to this day talk about his ability and the way he really changed what happened in the net. And, he just had so many individual records. And one other funny thing about it, which I did not until the other day, we did the beef with him or about him. And that was his first game in the National Hockey League. It was a 2-2 tie, and the two goals scored against him were by his brother.
Right. I saw a video about that. Phil talks about it, and I guess their mother called, and maybe Tony's wife called, and they were mad at Phil for scoring the two goals against Tony.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the there are a couple of funny stories in sports. Roberto Clemente always falls in that category baseball-wise because the Dodgers and Branch Rickey, maybe the smartest general manager of all time, did not protect Roberto Clemente, and he was taken by the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right.
And the same thing happened in Montreal. The Canadiens did not protect Esposito, and he winds up going to the Blackhawks and being one of the greatest players of all time.
Of course, Phil started his career, Phil Esposito, with the Blackhawks. And then, of course, there was a huge trade that sent Phil and I believe I forget who the other player was. Might have been Kenny Hodge, I'm not sure, but to Boston, and that really made the Bruins such a powerhouse for about 5 years.
Well, I'll tell you, the original six, of course, they didn't play anywhere near the number of games that they play now, and the travel commitments were, the train, and but it was as they say in football, it was a different league when the Colts and the Giants played for the championship before all this big time money came in, and the same thing in the National Hockey League. When the original six, it was really a very competitive league.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony Esposito, we should say, it was pancreatic cancer, sadly, same thing that Bobby Bowden had, who we also lost about 2 weeks ago. But Tony and Phil have a piece of Tampa Bay history, of course, too, with the Lightning. They were both involved with getting the Lightning here back in the early 90s. So a bit of a Tampa Bay connection with Tony Esposito. Yeah,
and you were down at that time. I wasn't in Sarasota at the time when they came in, and you talked about going over to the old barn on the fairgrounds. I never was there. Of course, we hadn't been in the Trop many, many times. They moved from the barn to the Trop.
Right.
But you were actually there, and it was, they said it was really a short-handed dollar and cent move.
You could smell the animal remains there, the animal waste from the fair, walking there. But I was actually at the press conference when Phil announced that the team was officially going to start, and they didn't have a name at that time. And I got to ask him a question. I said, "Are you going to have a contest to name the team?" And he said, "Hey, that's a good idea. We're probably going to do that." So I don't think it was my idea, but he was trying to run the press conference, and if it wasn't for Phil Esposito, the Lightning would not have come to Tampa. There's no doubt about that. He was the guy that made it happen.
Yeah, I just don't think he gets enough credit, to be honest. You and I talked about it many, many times. And Mr. Vanek finally brought him back after the former owners had pretty much put him aside. But there wouldn't be a Tampa Bay Lightning, and there wouldn't be 2 back-to-back Stanley Cup championships
Right.
If he hadn't fought through the hard years and kept the franchise in Tampa. And then Mr. Vanek recognized what Phil Esposito made to the organization and brought it back.
Yeah. And from all I can see in videos of interviews between the two Esposito brothers, I think they got along pretty well together. I think they were pretty close. So we feel sad for Phil, but Tony had a good run there, one of the all-time greats.
No question about it. And you and I chatted earlier today before we did the interview with Ian from St. Marie. That's where they were from.
Yeah, Ontario, right?
Yeah, a lot of their organizational people, when they first created the Lightning, were from that particular area because they knew them, and that was where the organization really got its early start.
Now, Don, I know we got some things in the works. I know we're going to try and get Pat Williams on again, of course, with the Orlando Magic, but also, obviously, it's been on hold since we talked to him last, but trying to get a Major League Baseball team in Orlando. We'll have to see an update on that. I know he's got another book out, so I know we're working on that and a couple other things.
Yeah, we get in touch with him. I'll try. I looked for a number for him. He's not going to be back until I don't know if he's out watching the Summer League or exactly where he is, but we will get him and talk about we'll talk about everything. The Summer League, what has happened with the NBA. I don't know what, to be very honest with you, I don't know. It's probably in one of his books how much he had to put forth to organize the Orlando Magic. But I guarantee it wasn't anything near $2 billion.
No. That was what, late 80s, I guess, the Magic started, right? Yeah. So it wasn't that crazy amount back then. But always fun to talk to him, and we got some other people we'll talk to as well. But, Don, always good to talk some vintage sports, and enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.